Hello everyone, I'm Madiha Tabassum, a PhD candidate at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. In this video, I'm going to present our work on Smart Home titled Smart Home Beyond the Home, a Case for Community-Based Access Control. This paper is co-authored by Dr. Jess from University of Cincinnati, Dr. Pamela from University of Central Florida, and Dr. Richter from University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Smart home devices are different than traditional personal devices, such as personal laptops or mobile phones that are normally used by only one person. However, in a smart home, many devices are used by multiple members of the home as well as the visitors, and there are tension between these users in terms of how these devices should be used or controlled. According to a recent study, the smart home users also have complex preference on how smart home device access should be shared among the people inside the home. Furthermore, not only smart home devices are shared among the people inside the house, these devices can be shared among a community of people to increase the safety of the house or the neighborhood. For instance, Ring has a neighborhood app where people share suspicious events to increase community safety. Hence, we believe homeowners may wish to share the remote access of their smart devices with people outside of their home for various reasons, such as remote monitoring. However, past research did not investigate whether and how people want to share the remote access of their smart home devices with someone who do not currently live in their house or not currently visiting their house. We aim to address this gap by investigating the range of potential uses of remote sharing as well as the need of homeowners to monitor and control such accesses that they share with people outside of their home. To do that, we pose these four research questions. So, we want to know, are smart home users interested in sharing device with people who do not currently live in their house, and if so, with whom they want to share this device, the remote access of these devices. Also, we wanted to know what devices and capabilities smart home owners want to share with people who do not currently live with them, and also for what purpose they want to share remote access of their devices with these people, and for the smart home users who are already sharing their devices with people who do not currently live with them, what are their experiences and what are their pain points and additional needs for such remote access sharing. We have taken a mixed method approach, a survey and a follow-up interview study to investigate these research questions. We ran a survey on Qualtrics on 163 smart home users. Our sample was pretty balanced in terms of gender. Majority of our participants were well educated, had a college degree and was homeowners. Our participants owned a variety of smart home devices. Most popular device owned by our sample was a smart speaker, followed by smart security cameras, lights, and thermostat. To analyze our data, we conducted descriptive analysis on our quantitative data and conducted open coding on the open-ended survey responses. So, in our survey, we have asked participants with whom they currently share or want to share in future the remote access of their smart home devices outside of their home. Then we asked them which specific devices they want to share with these people, and then for each of the devices we provided them with a list of capabilities and asked which specific capabilities they remotely share for that particular device with that person. Surprisingly, we found that 64% of our participants either already share or want to share remote access of their smart home devices with people who do not live in their house. They mostly share with their close family members and friends. Some of our participants also share with their neighbors. The most common device shared by our participants were smart locks and burglar alarms. We have also found a pattern of which capabilities people share for each of these devices. For instance, most frequently shared capabilities for a smart lock was getting notification and the ability to remotely open or close the door. For smart burglar alarm, similarly, it was getting notification and the ability to remotely arm or disarm the alarm. For smart security cameras, it was viewing live streaming and receiving notifications and so on. We have found that the main motivation behind sharing the devices was increasing the security and safety of the household and its occupants. Participants also appreciated how these devices helped them to take care of their loved ones. For instance, one of our participants who have access to the smart indoor camera in his parents' house said they're getting older and in worse health, and it would make me feel better to have 24-hour access to them. More details about different devices and capabilities are in our paper. The survey provides us with the evidence that people are currently sharing the remote access of their smart home devices. So, to get a more deeper understanding of why they are sharing the devices, what are their perception of what access are being shared, and how the participants feel about the current device sharing interface, their current device sharing practices, what are their pain points, and what improvements they may want to make on the current device sharing practices, we have conducted a follow-up interview study. We have conducted interview with 13 smart home users who currently share at least one of their smart home devices with someone who do not live in their house, and the interview was conducted over the phone and lasted for about 30 minutes. We have conducted thematic analysis on our interview data. We have found that people share access of their devices for different reasons that can be categorized into these 4 broad categories. People share the devices, especially the smart speaker, to keep in touch with their family and friends. People share the security devices for the purpose of safeguarding their house. People share the remote access of their devices to get help with the pets and also to provide easy access of their home to their family and friends. Many participants considered the location of the person they are sharing with and often shared their device with people who lives in close proximity of their house, especially when the goal is to increase the security of their home. For instance, Violet is a 39 years old housewife and a mom share her smart doorbell with her uncle, and she said, my uncle and aunt live probably about 2 miles, so it's really just safety. So if there was even any trouble, my uncle could see it right then and there and come to my rescue. We have also found that trust plays an important role in participants' device sharing decision. Almost all of our participants mentioned they explicitly trust the person they are sharing the device with and firmly believes that they will not misuse their device and also will take good care of their devices. For instance, Daniel is a 26-year-old IT professional who shares his devices with his friends but not with his neighbor. And as a reason, he said, it's more of a trust thing. My friends will let me know if their phone gets stolen. That way I can just disable their access. However, if my neighbor loses her phone, I don't think they're gonna call me and tell me, hey, I lost the phone. Some of our participants also said they would not share the remote access of their devices with anyone who were not sufficiently trusted. Many of our participants shared the full access of these devices, especially with trusted people, and often they do so by sharing the account username and password. Some did it because it is the simplest and fastest method to share, and they're comfortable sharing this way because they trust the person. However, some did it because the app does not provide any better option. For instance, Travis shared his smart speaker with his aunt by sharing the account credentials, but he is a bit uncomfortable with it because her aunt looks through the conversation with the smart speaker. Even if he is uncomfortable, he kept sharing. However, some of our participants decided to not share their devices, especially with less trusted community, because the lack of fine-grained access control. For instance, Amber wants to share her smoke alarm such that the person gets notified in case the alarm is off. However, she can't do that because the only option Nest app provides is sharing the full control of the device, and she is not comfortable doing that. Our participants also specifically appreciated time-based access control feature that some of the smart home devices provides because they like the ability to share only when they go to the vacation when they're away from their home and revoke access after coming back. Another thing that some of our participants pointed out is the lack of transparency in the current application regarding what accesses are being shared with someone. For instance, Jim has a smart doorbell, and when you add a new user to the system, it does not provide any indication of what that person would be able to do with that device. So Jim frustratedly said, there is no audit trail. If hypothetically I had a neighbor whom I would have given access to, then I would want to know what accesses are being shared and when my neighbor would be accessing it. Hence, lack of transparency and fine-grained access control may be another reason that people choose only to share with their trusted community. So, many of our participants prefer to share full access with trusted people, but do so by sharing account credentials. Hence, we believe providing visible and easy option to share full access will help users to securely share the access of their devices. Also, we believe the current interface should be more transparent regarding what accesses are being shared so users know exactly what others can do with their devices and be comfortable with that. Moreover, many of our participants desire to share their devices with additional friends and neighbors outside of their trusted community for the monitoring and care of their home, but could not do so because of the lack of fine-grained access control. Providing option for more restricted form of sharing would expand the community of people with whom smart of homeowners would be able to comfortably share the remote access of their devices. Finally, we believe designers should investigate more time and event-based access controls features driven by from the use cases we identified in our paper to support smart home users' remote monitoring and notification needs. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. If you have any question, please email me. And if you want to know more about our works, you can visit our UNCC SCI lab. Thank you.